Signing Tony Romo long-term, I submit to you, is the worst mistake Jerry Jones has ever made as the owner and operator of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, a lot of people would say, time out. Firing Jimmy Johnson after back-to-back Super Bowl wins, that wasn't the biggest mistake. I don't think it was really a mistake. I was there. Jimmy would verbally abuse Jerry to the point that he was daring Jerry to fire him, and I think Jerry basically in the end had no choice but to fire Jimmy Johnson. So I'm going to give him that one. I'm not going to give him this one. And I said at that moment, no, Jerry, bad idea. If your goal as the head of the Dallas Cowboys is to win a Super Bowl, and obviously with Jimmy and then Barry Switzer, Jerry Jones won 3. If that's your goal, and your quarterback as a starter through his first 7 years has won you only 1 playoff game and gotten you to only 4 playoff games, and in the month of December, the month in the National Football League, he is 11-15, and he has a history of making mind-blowingly bad decisions, especially in the month of December, and a history of breaking Cowboy fans' hearts, and I am one, then you can't, you have to bite that bullet at that point and take the short-term hit of finding another quarterback for the sake of long-term gain. Now, I get it. Tony Romo is a spectacular playmaker on occasions. I get it that he has now 206 career touchdown passes to only 100 interceptions. And I get it that he will keep fans on the edge of their seats. But in the end, once an undrafted free agent, always an undrafted free agent. I think in crunch time, Tony Romo, in the biggest of games, comes up small because he really doesn't believe in Tony Romo. So I'm going to say that Jerry has signed Tony Romo more for box office than winning Super Bowls.
And when you say box office instead of winning Super Bowls, another way to put that is the circus instead of everything else. And if I'm a guy that's more interested and more concerned with the circus-like atmosphere where I'm generating interest and thereby generating revenue for my product and filling the sheets in an appropriate and beneficial fashion financially, then you know what, Tony Romo's my man, because there's never a day where that ain't suspenseful. He's a walking soap opera, okay? That's what he is, because there's always suspense, there's always thrill, there's always excitement, and this is what Jerry Jones loves. And so in regards to that, I can understand why he gave him the money that he get, and I'm not going to poo-poo it to the level that you did. Do I think Tony Romo is worth $108 million? Absolutely not. Do I believe he's worth $55 million guaranteed? I do not believe that as well. But he did enter this year having thrown for more than 4,000 yards in 3 of the previous 4 seasons. He is suspenseful. There's always thrill on the edge of your seat, per se. And if you have an owner that seems to care just as much about that as he does about winning football games, if not more so, then you've done what falls in line with your thinking. If I'm Bob Kraft, I would have been appalled by this. If I'm the Rooneys, I would have been appalled by this, okay? But if I'm Jerry Jones, no, this falls in line with what I'm doing. And that's really what's inescapable about all of this as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys. Their priorities are all screwed up. That's why dysfunctionality reeks through their locker room. That's why you have somebody like a Des Bryant where everybody's calling him petulant, even though I'm not nearly as down on him as other people are. That's why you have Tony Romo being a walking soap opera that he is. That's why you have a running back at DeMarco Murray who has a lot of skill and when healthy can really help this team, but then they choose then not to give him the football nearly as much as they should, because you know why? We want to throw the football. It's not just about winning. It's about winning the way we want. It's not just about playing. It's about playing the way that we want. It's about having people talk about us. They remind me of the NCAA, for crying out loud. As long as you're talking about us, we're winning, okay? It doesn't matter what you're saying. It's that we're a relevant topic of conversation. That seems to be what Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys mindset is all about. And if that's what it is, then it ain't Tony Romo's fault that he's cashed in on that. I don't think he's worth those dollars, but he's not a scrub. He can play. Okay, he does belong in this league. He is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Okay, so with all of those things taken into consideration, whether it's high second tier or very low first tier player, he's in that conversation. And by virtue of that alone, based on what the agenda appears to be for the Cowboys, I don't think we can knock Jerry Jones for making this choice.